Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I am coming at you guys with another exhibition Starcraft 2 Heart of the Swarm matchup, and this was another replay that was submitted to my email box at HDreplays@gmail.com. Without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce the players. The red Protoss player is somebody you guys might recognize. It is Team Impulse Esports SoulQuest, who I actually casted a game of not too long ago in actually a PvP on this very map. I think it was him versus Nifik, and it was one of the most entertaining Protoss versus Protoss I've seen in some time. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. So he is going to be the red Protoss player in the bottom right hand corner here. He is a Canadian Protoss. And his opponent is going to be SJSU WhatAmI. And I don't know what the SJSU stands for. I want to say it stands for a school, maybe like San Jose State University or something. But who knows? It is going to be a PvP. He is going to be the blue Protoss player in the top left-hand corner of the map. And last time I casted a game with SoulQuest, which was a few days ago, like I said, epic PvP. I think we had like some proxy gateways going down, and then there was just harassment for like literally 30 minutes long, epic harass all the way to the end. And so once again, hoping that we get to see a good game here. If you guys have any sweet replays you'd like for me to cast, as always, my email box is open to you at hdreplays@gmail.com. Just don't send me spam or flood messages. I don't even know why I said that, because now it'll definitely get spammed and flooded as if it wasn't already. But yeah, that's just the life, I guess, of being a broadcaster and letting your email known to the world. I should actually take a picture one day and let you guys see what kind of emails I get. Sometimes I get like some Arabic emails, and then I get some like messages from people who claim to be like my long-lost ex-girlfriend, and they're like, "Why did you break up with me?" And then they want money for child support. I don't know, man. It's really weird. Anyways, getting into this game here, somebody's got 4 in gas. And I guess it's always, I don't know, I guess these two guys know each other a little bit because they did have a little bit of a chat history in the beginning talking about beer and whatnot. I don't know. So I guess they're friends, and SoulQuest here is helping out WhatAmI a little bit, telling him, hey man, you've got a little bit too much in gas. And I guess that's always a little friendly tip. Although in a tournament scene, I don't think you'd ever see anybody do that, like give a free tip like, hey, take one of your guys off gas. In their mind, they'd be thinking, well, yes, that's a free bonus for me. WhatAmI here is inside SoulQuest's base with a probe, and he is just rolling around. There is a mothership core that's going to be coming out fairly soon here. So I would imagine SoulQuest will probably end up killing that off. At the same time, SoulQuest's probe is also under attack and is going to be herded out of the Bane base. Yeah, really, seriously, man, don't kill that probe. He actually, if it wasn't for this probe, you would actually have one probe that would be totally useless right now. So yeah, and WhatAmI is gonna say, okay, I guess it is an even trade if you really think about it. But he's still chasing the probe down, so I don't know what this is all about. But I guess nope, he's gonna kill it, and that's kind of dirty after the gentleman's agreement, and now he's gonna. Nope, the probe is gonna die. So WhatAmI with a little bit of dirtiness right there, I guess. But SoulQuest does get a proxy pylon up, and now a stalker comes in. But it looks like WhatAmI gets the first shot off. So oh no, but the mothership core is gonna come in, and that is gonna change the tides of war there, because usually whoever gets the first shot off is gonna win the battle. But in this situation, SoulQuest is just gonna win it straight up because of a mothership core. And back at home, he does have a Twilight Council. He is going to be going for Blink Stalkers, and already has one proxy pylon on the map, not necessarily at a really close location, but he is going to be going for one base Blink Stalkers here. He should be adding on a couple more gateways, and there comes the second and third one. In the meantime, WhatAmI is going to be going for Stargate, and a little bit of divergence in tech here. He's also throwing up a proxy pylon of his own. Lots of movement in the middle of the map, and the mothership core runs into the Phoenix. Meet your maker, but the Phoenix is going to be not going to be able to kill off the core, obviously, because there are 3 stalkers on the ground, but 3 stalkers also coming in for WhatAmI, and we have a battle. Who is going to win? It looks like the mothership core, tries to retreat, but cannot get home in time, and that Phoenix really helping out majorly, not only in killing off the mothership core, but also removing one of the enemy stalkers from the battlefield. Now, the Phoenix has served its purpose, so it's gonna die, but really the MVP of that battle right there. And in the meantime, it looks like WhatAmI is warping in reinforcements. Got 3 stalkers to the north, and he's also got stalkers coming in to the main base of SoulQuest, and he is, oh my god, he's gonna be able to do quite a bit of damage here. He's brought in another Phoenix, and WhatAmI really laying on the pressure. SoulQuest is going to have to find a way to recover here, and of course he's going to need Blink in order to really help him out. Blink is almost finished researching, about 8 seconds away. Once Blink finishes, that's really going to help him defend, but he is really outnumbered in stalkers right now. He's got half the number of stalkers that SoulQuest has got. He's lost more in resources, obviously, about 650 more, and I think I did see a Oracle being produced somewhere. It looks like WhatAmI is just going around picking out the pawns, and there is an Oracle on the map here, ladies and gentlemen. Pulsar Beam, Envision, and of course Revelation are the 3 abilities for the Oracle. Meanwhile, a big battle raging on here as SoulQuest comes in with his Blink Stalkers, does snipe out the Phoenix, and is now in retreat. So the Red Protoss recovering somewhat slightly after almost, taking some serious damage in the main base. And he's been able to recover now, and he's actually warped in some Zealots through his proxy pylon in the northeast corner. Is going to go for the natural expansion now. In the meantime, the Oracle flies in and is going to activate his Pulsar Beam, getting a couple of kills here, warding all the probes away. And this is great just in of itself. Doesn't necessarily do any damage, but it does basically not allow SoulQuest to mine any minerals. SoulQuest trying to run in here with a couple of Zealots, but he is easily picked off. And in the meantime, it looks like the Oracle is going to pull away. So both players doing some pretty good damage there, but I think SoulQuest really getting the shorter stick there, because he didn't really kill off, I don't think he killed off any probes with his Zealots at all. And actually this Oracle, it is going to go down, but it killed off 5 workers, and on top of that, it also caused SoulQuest to lose some mining time. So the Red Protoss here is in some trouble. He's got less stalkers still, and it looks like now he's just gonna have to figure out a way to maneuver himself into position in this game, because he is not looking too good. Not to mention he doesn't even have a natural expansion, and oh, this is bad for SoulQuest. He is trying to pick off that Phoenix, but I don't even think it's worth it. He is gonna lose all of his stalkers here, and what a terrible loss. Actually, a little bit of friendly fire right there from WhatAmI as he was trying to, I guess, target fire. He ended up targeting his own stalker, almost ended up killing it too. That poor guy's like, don't shoot me, guys. I'm on your team, same side, same side. Alright, and SoulQuest now is in full retreat. I don't even know how he's going to keep this Nexus alive, because these stalkers are all coming in, and most likely, even though SoulQuest has the Blink advantage, he doesn't have the firepower advantage, and he is forced to cancel off that natural expansion. So not a good start at all for the Red Protoss player. In fact, WhatAmI now in a dominating lead, has more probes, is going to lose some stalkers here. Not sure why he didn't pull them away. That was a bit of a mistake. And those are the kind of mistakes that can cost you. When you're ahead in a game, sometimes you get a little complacent and you make small errors like that, and small errors can add up, and over time that can change, that can change the momentum quite a bit. So SoulQuest here getting a little bit back. WhatAmI has to be careful. He is in defensive mode now, has 2 Void Rays, really putting that Stargate to use. And those Void Rays are obviously going to be quite helpful against these stalkers. He's also got an Immortal as well, so his anti-armor has increased significantly, which means these stalkers, even though they have Blink, their mobility is really negated by the firepower that WhatAmI has on the field right now. And because of that, I don't think SoulQuest can do much damage, but he's going in nevertheless, really trying to snipe out a stalker or 2 here. And obviously picking on the weakened ones, not a bad idea. But at the end of the day, it is not going to work out for him. And it looks like he is just going to have to pull back and control the middle of the map and play map control. I think that's a good idea, considering he still has to catch up with this natural. Just play the contain game with his mobile forces, and actually he's got an observer up here. He can blink into the main base, and this would be a really sick play if he can get into the main with these stalkers and then pick off a couple of probes and then just get the hell out of there and blink out. Not a bad strategy at all. The forces out here are being baited out to the middle of the map, so now if SoulQuest wants to go in, he certainly can, and he brings half of his stalkers in, leaves the other half out here, and he knows that these forces do not have blink, so he's going to get into the main base and pick off a couple of probes here, and really starting to even up the edge just a bit here, and he's gonna get about maybe 8 or 9 probe kills. Not bad, actually 11. Finally the Void Ray is coming back in, and wow, that prismatic beam is so strong. And SoulQuest manages to pull out with maybe 1 or 2 Stalkers intact, trying to blink in here with these Stalkers once again, but runs into an army of enemy Stalkers and Immortals, and WhatAmI now is starting to push into the middle of the map. Neither side really has any upgrades. You'll note neither has +1. The only upgrade differential is the blink for the red Protoss player. There is a third Nexus coming up, although there's a proxy pylon right there for SoulQuest. If he wants to warp in some units, he certainly could. He's also adding in a Dark Shrine. WhatAmI needs to get observers out on the field in order to counter these DTs. Photon Overcharge on the Nexus, obviously helping to keep it alive. And SoulQuest here really posturing outside of the natural. And it seems like he's the one now who's kind of playing a bit of the contain game, realizing, hey, I've got a third Nexus coming up, and my enemy Protoss doesn't, SoulQuest does not. And so WhatAmI only has to stay back and kind of play this defensive game. He can run in here with these Void Rays and really snipe out a couple buildings. Beautiful play. And this is big. He picks off the robotics facility, but in the meantime, his forces get force fielded, and he's going to lose a big chunk of his army. Oh, beautiful by SoulQuest, moving in and sniping out a large chunk of the blue Protoss army. And now SoulQuest brings his Blink Stalkers back home, is going to be able to defend the main base, only loses the robotics facility. And at the end of the day, I think that play evened up the game for the red Protoss player, because he was down an army, he's still down in a base, but he was down an army, and he was able to even that up quite significantly. Now he's thinking about making a counter push to deny WhatAmi's third expansion, but he's got to deal with these Void Rays first. He's going to be able to do that. Very nicely done. These Void Rays shouldn't really be staying around, honestly. They should have pulled away, but I guess there's no hope when the Stalkers have Blink and the Void Rays are not as fast as Stalkers in the first place. So, yeah, WhatAmI is starting to lose a lot of his momentum now, and SoulQuest is pushing in with this army. Force fields the forces away from the Nexus, gonna start to do some damage. Probes being pulled off the line here, and SoulQuest might be able to take out this expansion. He's gotta blow through these forces first. Another Time Warp field coming down, and WhatAmI in a lot of trouble here. Will he have enough forces to hold on? It looks like just barely with the Immortals he brought in. It looks like he is gonna be able to defend this third expansion. Really nice job right there by WhatAmI. And SoulQuest, he didn't really do the damage he wanted to do, but he did buy himself some time to get another expansion up. And because of that, now both players are, you could say, on an even footing, 3 bases apiece. And it looks like SoulQuest is still here, looking to do some damage against this Nexus. He's got a lot of firepower here, and if this Nexus goes down, that's a big loss for WhatAmI. He's got to save the base. I don't think he can save it in time. He was just out of position. And SoulQuest sacrifices all of his forces to take out that Nexus. Really risky play, but ended up working out quite well for him. And now the red Protoss player pulls ahead. He gets the third expansion. He kills off the enemy third expo. And just like that, momentum has swung right back in favor of the red Protoss player from Team Impulse Esports. Very nicely done. WhatAmI now is adding on some Templars, but he's got to be a little concerned about the fact that he lost his third expansion. And what are these Templars going to be for? I'd imagine he's going to just make them straight into Archon. Psionic Storm isn't really that effective of an ability in PvP. Most forces are too bulky in Protoss versus Protoss. They don't take that much damage from Storm like Zerg do. Or Terran. So yeah, I think WhatAmI gonna go for Archons, and there's a couple of Archons coming in here. He's got to keep this third Nexus alive no matter the cost. Gonna try to intercept these Protoss forces, I think, as well, but not gonna be able to do so. In the meantime, SoulQuest has also taken the liberty to get a couple more upgrades for his army. He's gotten Charge, and he's gotten +1 weapons. +2 is on the way at the same time, and he's also adding on his own Templar archives. And really nice work so far from the red Protoss player, but another battle might go on in the middle of the map here. Of course, SoulQuest using his Blink to just stay away from WhatAmi's army, which is obviously far less mobile. And just a clever strategy here from him as he continues to play a game of cat and mouse. But WhatAmI is sick of this. He's going to push in here with most of his forces and loses the Void Ray, but he's still got the Archons powering the front lines here. And I tell you, when Archons are on the field and you don't have any Archons, you don't have any Colossus. It is very scary. Archons rip through Zealots like nobody's business. If they get in up close and personal with, you know, gateway units, they demolish them. So yeah, those Archons are very scary right now. WhatAmI with a tech advantage in terms of Archons, and he's gonna try to push in here, but at the same time he's gotta be worried there's a warp prism here. He doesn't know about it, and their units, DTs are warping in, Dark Templars are warping into the main base. One DT gonna go into the main, and this is one of the sneakiest things that Protoss can do in PvP, but it is so commonplace. You know, a lot of Protoss nowadays just throw up a cannon or two in each of their bases once the game gets to 20 minutes plus, because the possibility of DTs is so highly likely. And this Dark Templar, I mean, look at how many probes have gone down. 44 workers have died already in this game. SoulQuest has somehow managed to kill off a ton of workers. I don't know where most of those workers, I'm assuming it must have been from the earlier battle when probes were pulled out here at the 3rd expansion, but there have been a lot of probe kills, and thankfully those DTs haven't really added up too much more. I'm a little surprised that that the Red Protoss didn't drop off more DTs. You would have thought he would have, but he only deposited one. He still has a Warp Prism there, so he can certainly go in for another tour of duty. And here we go, SoulQuest pushing in once again. Do note there's a fleet beacon coming out for WhatAmI. He's gonna go to tier 3 air, and here comes WhatAmi's Archon army, and that is just so strong and so scary. SoulQuest can't, he doesn't want to have anything to do with that. And he is actually gonna go into the main base with the Warp Prism once again, picks off the Templar Archives, now focusing the Twilight Council. The firepower from these 3 Zealots and 2 Dark Templar are really strong, taking out buildings so quickly. Finally, the Archon's coming back in, but there is no detector here. Is there? Yes, there is. I guess there's an observer right there. There's an observer. So it is detected, and the Dark Templars are picked off. You'll note that SoulQuest is going for Colossus. He went for the support bay, and WhatAmI is going for Fleet Beacon. Tempests are a very good counter to Colossus. One reason why you don't see Colossus being used so often anymore in PvP, obviously. But they still have a place in the game. It looks like this Warp Prism is going to be picked off by the Void Ray, but not before it deposits a huge load of Zealots and DTs going for the main base. In the meantime, SoulQuest pressuring the front door, but not many forces there, and it looks like the Nexus will be saved. And of course, the Warp Prism did go down. So WhatAmI with a really good defense there, and he needed that defense. In all honesty, if he had not held off his main, he would have been in a lot of trouble. But now both players, you know, very evenly matched. And I will say this is something interesting you won't see every day. It's going to be Tempest from the blue Protoss player versus Colossus from the red Protoss. And like I said, Tempests are such a good counter to Colossus, so we'll see if SoulQuest has a plan here to deal with that. He is going to go for another snipe on this Nexus. I think he's got enough firepower to do it. The Nexus is going to go down for the 2nd time today, and a humongous blow to WhatAmi's economy. And of course, SoulQuest is going for a 4th expansion as well. So you know, the blue Protoss here needs to get it together with this defense here. I would even argue, you know, maybe throw up a cannon or two just to delay, buy yourself some time or something. And he needs to get a 4th Nexus down as well, obviously. Here we go, though. Big battle potentially raging on here as the blue Protoss army moves into the middle of the map. Gonna catch these stalkers unaware, and it looks like they are gonna blink out of the way, but doing some good damage there is WhatAmI. And in the meantime, we have another Warp Prism going to the left-hand side as that 4th Nexus gets powered up. A 4th Nexus also coming up for the blue Protoss player. Very intelligent there, not falling behind in bases, which is always something that can cost you the game. Do note that the upgrade advantage is hugely in favor of SoulQuest's army. That's why Zealots and DTs do so much damage, but WhatAmI is focused more heavily on air forces, so that's why he hasn't upgraded his troops at all yet. And it looks like these Zealots and DTs gonna go to the main base once again, and that Nexus is gonna drop down. Not a terrible loss though for WhatAmI, honestly, because that Nexus was pretty much mined out. These 2 DTs are gonna go into the new expansion though. There are no photon cannons here. Like I said before, a couple of photon cannons in the late game can make all the difference in PvP. And this Nexus, I mean, with these +3 DTs, are doing 60 damage per attack. They're gonna take out this Nexus here. The robotics facility is also taking a beating as well. Looks like the Nexus is gonna be saved. And finally, WhatAmI decides, all right, I think I need to throw up some photon cannons. Good idea, bro. good idea. And so, yeah, there are going to be some photons coming up. And the main base is still getting cleaved inside out, though. The Forge is going to get taken out, which is going to delay WhatAmi's ground upgrades. He was trying to catch up there. Not going to be able to do so. The Cybernetics core has also gone down. And look at this army of +3 charge lots. Hello. And they are just going to ransack this base. Nothing that WhatAmI can do. He's totally out of position, and all of a sudden this game is starting to fall way out of control for WhatAmI. SoulQuest is, oh, he almost kills off that Nexus. It has 32 HP. You know, if all these ults just charge right into this Nexus, they might be able to make it past this army to kill it off. We'll see. I think he's gonna go for it. Oh no, he's not. Okay, yeah, those Archons in the front lines are just too beefy. They're going to be able to take out that army. 3 Stargates now on the way for SoulQuest. He's got a bunch of Colossus back at home. The main portion of his army, you know, his Colossi have not seen battle yet. He's been relying on this guerrilla warfare tactics, and it has been working out for him, I must say. And of course, he's got the base advantage as well. WhatAmI is still, you know, up there in supply, though, so his army is still very much in contention with SoulQuest's army. Don't make any mistake about that. But as the game continues to go on, the Red Protoss is going to continue to bank resources here, and that is, you know, because he's got that extra base, and that is going to definitely sway the tides for the Red Protoss in his favor. And it looks like he's going to try to take out this 4th Nexus once again. A Warp Prism also going around up into the skies, but it is going to be picked off by these Tempests. Boom! And no, oh wow, not gonna be able to kill it off, but that last shot right there from the Tempest does finish it off. And 152 supply to 145. I don't know how both players are still pretty much right on the dot, even in supply. And in fact, if you look at the resources, despite WhatAmI taking a huge burden of damage, he's been able to stay, you know, on top of his economy. He's been able to stay on top of his bases. He's lost a ton of bases, but he's still got the same number of bases his opponent does right now. Actually, just one less, because SoulQuest is getting the 5th now. What a great game by both of these two Protoss players. And here we go. WhatAmI pushing in. He's got a large army of Tempest, and that just completely neuters Colossus. These Archons have to be careful. They're really taking a lot of damage from the Colossi, and it looks like the blue Protoss player trying to pull away, let his Tempest do the damage against these Colossus first, and I don't think this is going to work out for him, and he's just going to leave the game. So he has been defeated, and just too big of an army from SoulQuest. GG. Couple of Time Warp fields coming down as well. The double Time Warp fields. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. What a PvP that was. Very sick. And of course, if you guys enjoyed, check me out on YouTube at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD Starcraft. I'll see you guys in the next cast. And this is HD signing out.